Your face is unknown to me. What business have you at my rookery? Somebody else, no less. Yes, I can provide you with an admiral for passage to Kolushia. I will pick you out a friendly world. And I was expecting a chocobo. A chocobo? Do you hail from one of Norvright's more isolated settlements, perchance? Here there are few places where they ride little elves. But here in the Crystarium, mounts like that gray fellow there are far more commonly used. Seeming as you're plain accustomed to riding armor, I think it best to accompany you on this flight myself. Any Zune worthy of the name could do it, of course, but the Exarch sends you to me. Ensuring that your side arrive safely is my responsibility. Gather your things and meet me at the Admiral Lodge. One of the junior tamers will tend you while I ready the mounts. You want to fly to an admiral to Kolushia? Well, I suppose if Master Jinbai is going with you. Wait here, please. The Master should be along with the mounts shortly.
The whistling breeze, mute. The pounding surf, frozen. Time itself takes a breath. At light's edge, all is perfectly still. The world captured in a painting, locked in a moment. Music, faint and fleeting, drifts coastward on the lifeless air. And in the distance, beyond the broken earth, a city beckons.
We've arrived. This is Crackshell Beach on the eastern coast of Kolushia. Should be safe here for the present. Compared to the mainland, Sin Eater attacks are far less prevalent, and the native beasts are not any more dangerous than elsewhere. See that city in the distance? That is Yulmore, the island's main settlement. It rivals the Crystarium in scale and was once an ally in our battle against the abominations. For years, the Yulmore elite have fancied themselves with the masters of what remains of our broken world. They've gone as far as to offer the leaders of other settlements protection, if we bend the knee. But to say their ideals are questionable would be putting it mildly. Crystarium is one among many who resents their heavy-handed authority, and while we are not at war, our relationship with Yulmore is strained at best. It may be wise to conceal your ties with the XIV during your stay here, especially in the vicinity of the city. I'm glad we understand each other. Now, the Exarch has instructed me to divulge a secret that which will make your finding your friend a good deal easier. Listen closely. Head south along the coast, you'll eventually come to a fisherman's shack. Friend of the Crystarium lives there, a man who goes by the name of Ivor. Ivor keeps an eye on everything that happens in Kolushia, and will be able to point you in the right direction. Just hand him a sprig of time. That will let him know that you can trust him. Here, this should be enough. Find your friend. We'll stay here with the Admiral until you are ready to return. what are you after? Fish? Crab? I think I've got a needle in a barrel somewhere if you've got a taste for it. Oh, I do love a bit of time. Chucking some in the pan and it's like a bloody festival of flavor. Now, what is it I can do for you? Can't say there's been any major upsets to report in the past few weeks. Alphino, eh? I know that one. Our young champion is downtrodden. Gilmore is richer than all Nova put together, but there's a different story for them as live outside the city. They'll spend their every waking moment just trying to stay alive, which makes your friend's dedication to helping others stand all the more. I can hazard a guess as to where he is right now. Got a message to him. They need to find someone required to meet, away from prying eyes. Make for Stilltide. This fishing village just up the path here. Looking for a rundown excuse for tavern locals called the Leaky Keel. Wait there and I'll see that Alphino joins you. Yes, dear. Buy a drink, out you go. These seats are for paying customers. This is your first time in a tavern. It's customary to buy a drink if you need to do it later. What'll you be having? Ale. A fine choice, and what'll you be paying with? Well now, those are exotic. Where did you come by coins like that? I'm sorry, dear. I don't doubt they have value, but we don't have a touchstone to test their purity. I'm not going to go begging for one of them neighbors. So, you'll just have to come to some other arrangement. Now, here's an idea. This is common to the north where we grow our vegetables, but lately the pests have been eating more than we have. What do you say you do a bit of extermination work? I want you to squash any vermin you find, then visit the caretaker and give him an earful for me for sleeping on the job. It'll be in the old silo next to the fence, snoring like it's not. Do that for me and you can laze about here as long as you like. Welcome back, dear. What did that good-for-nothing caretaker have to say for himself? God. Some left to join the rest of the hopefuls. In Gate Town, outside Yomor. You don't have a clue what I'm talking about, do you? And there I was thinking you were another dreamer. Well, never mind all that. Take a seat wherever you like, dear. You've more than earned it. I'll even throw another drink on the house.
And how is business today, Mistress Theva?
Oh, frenetic. Look, I have a new customer.
Tis good to see you, my friend. The barley seeds you wanted. They should produce a better harvest than the last.
What, just like that? Oh, Alfino, you really are a dear. Well, I'd best be tidying up some of those empty shacks before the pests move in. Keep an eye on the place while I'm out, eh?
It seems an age since last we spoke. Not since the prisoner exchange in Doma. And Yotsu. It has been even longer for me, of course, if you count the days I've spent here. But the time has only added to the relief I feel seeing you safe and well.
V, I thought I was more worried about you.
Huh. Alize said much the same thing. I don't think I've ever had such a scolding. But I believe an exchange of news is in order. Come, tell me of your arrival and all that came before. I see. Both the Exarch and Alize told me what they knew of events, but I had stubbornly clung on to the hope that all-out war might yet be avoidable. And poor Tataru. She must be sick with worry. We must endeavor to return as soon as we may. It would be nice to bring her good tidings for a change. But before we bid this world farewell, we must first ensure that it is not rejoined to the source. We must prevent the 8th Umbral calamity. Urianger's vision of the future has, I fear, every chance of coming true. By his description, the catalyst for the calamity was a formless and deadly weapon employed by the Garlean Empire. Which can only mean one thing. Black Rose. Gaius was telling you the truth. When we were on the trail of the Ascians, we saw evidence that the gas was being manufactured once more. Gaius was adamant that the project had been scrapped, but so long as there are wars to be waged, there will always be those determined to win by any means. And thus simply destroying the existing stores of Black Rose would do little to alter fate's course. In that sense, our involuntary journey here to the First was something of a boon. Together with the Exarch, we've developed a theory as to how we believe the rejoining will be set in motion. I'm sure Urianger himself will cover the subject in more detail. But I can tell you the process requires that both worlds, the Source and the First, be facing an existential threat. One being Sin Eaters, of course. They are a menace that I would dearly love to remove, and not just to avert a calamity. I may be a stranger to this world, but I will not stand idly by and let innocent people be slaughtered. That is what brought me to the gates of Yulmore. Ignoring its pretensions as a kind of capital city to what remains of the world, it is nonetheless a center of power and authority. If any solutions are to be found, I believe our search should begin there. What say you, old friend? Hungry for another adventure? And so we take to the road once more.
Assuming you have no objections, let us make our way directly to the city outskirts. If we time my arrival just right, we might be just lucky enough to see where I haven't yet to set foot in Yulmore, despite my best efforts to do so. Come, from here we must head west and then cross a small bridge. Of all the useless, you there. Have you seen a timid mouse of a man cowering in a corner somewhere? I'm talking about my husband, clumsy, overcautious clod that he is. All I asked him was for him to bring some shellfish back for dinner, and he's been gone for bloody hours. I hate to inflict my troubles on a stranger, but if you're headed down to the beach and spot my good-for-nothing husband, tell him to get a move on with the main course. That should be enough for to last us, at least until those scaly buggers are taken care of. These days it seems there are more pests than people living in Stiltide. But with all the hopefuls running off to Yulmore, those flying lizards are the worst of the lot, though. You can't even leave for an honest day's work anymore without a swarm of them flapping sky demons nipping at your heels from here to Governor's Row. Don't get me started on the leader, Jackalus we call him. With the way that vicious blighter comes after you, you'd think he owns the bloody place. Someone needs to topple that little tyrant. None of us fancy losing a finger, but maybe you're up to the challenge. If you can draw him out, just secure a couple of his broodmates. That'll get his attention soon enough. Oh, that's why it wasn't for you. It's just thinking about a friend. Damn fool got tired of the hard life, you see. Tried to sail to the mainland with our little fishing boat. Said he'd come back and fetch me after he found his fortune. His body washed up on the beach yesterday. One of its last thoughts were of his home and of the shores of the land he never reached. Actually, sir, if you've not better to do than listen to me sob, I'd appreciate you handing and collecting his belongings. He's scattered along the sands, but I don't know that I'll find them all before the waves steal him out to sea. Who are you? What do you want with me? The wife's wondering where I am. Has it been that long? I tried to dig up one of those tide clam sites she likes. Good-sized ones, too. A claw shot up from under the sand and almost clipped my arm off. Say, you seem the capable sort. Do you think you can lend me a hand? Oh, thank you. You should be able to find the spot I was digging not far from the water. Just watch out for those snippers. You're not missing a limb or anything, are you? Yes, look at the size of this thing. My wife will be well pleased. She'll be mad at ask you for help, but it will be worth it when she sees the prize you claimed. In fact, I'm sure she'll want to thank you in person. Come on, let's head back to the village. My apologies, stranger. It seems my sprout puzzle been causing more trouble than I expected. Ah, you're a proper pain in the posterior, you are. Here, take this and drop it off the leaky keel. I hear you slew some shell monster what came between him and that clan. Good thing, too. If he'd stood his ground, I'd be burying whatever parts of him was left. Thank you. The man has faults, but he strike me if I don't love him all the same. Now, I'd best be making something to fill his belly when he comes back. Nice thick clams, too, I reckon. You're the bitey little bastard, then? Shadows be praised. Now maybe we can work the fields in peace. you hadn't done the deed, I was afraid we'd start running out of food. And I have no wish to watch anyone starve to death. I know we could move to Cape Town and live on hands out as a meal like the rest of them, but we have our pride. If there's any choice in the matter, we'd rather take care of our own needs while we can, with a little help of our battle-savvy travelers such as yourself, of course. Did you find anything? Aye, these are his things, alright. We made this ride ourselves, me and him. Lost count of the number of times we slipped away to go fishing instead of go grubbing about in the fields. So he should have known better than try crossing those tropic waters and letting that tiny boat. Told him, wicked white, how many times did I told him? And then the divide swallowed him up and spat him out. Damn fool. Suppose I better bury these bits and pieces with him and get back to work. Thank you for your guidance, stranger. Kolushia seems peaceful, does it not? Almost familiar. I had a similar impression of the Crystarium. Even in this distant world, people are much the same. Do you think that whenever a calamity struck the source, a reflection such as this one, with all its culture and history, is being erased from existence? No! Get away from me! Over there. Quickly, someone's in trouble. Thanks to fates. Look out! My poor heart. Thank you, young sir. Ah, there you are. In my haste, I've lost my bearings. But I think you have this situation well in hand. Fine work. Are you right, madam? Just a few bruises where I fell. Nothing compared to what was in store for me with the spray sword. Before the spray sword came to my rescue. I honestly thought I was done for. My feet are not as swift as they once were, and I knew there was no one left to hear me scream. Not that I let it stop me. What is Lady O'Bara? I should probably leave my old house behind and queue up outside Yomor with the rest of them. Doubt one of those fancy lords and ladies would welcome an old crone like me. Still, even a shack near the gate has to be safer than staying here. One would hope. Either way, I suggest you avoid wandering alone unless you make the Sin-Eater's task any easier. Thank you again. You saved my life. Now I'm sure a strapping lad like you has little to fear, but I wouldn't linger long in this place. There's not to be had here but cobwebs and memories. This is the lady says. Many in these parts have abandoned their homes to live in Yulmor's shadow. Should the Sin Eaters descend upon this region, their precious fuel with the strength to fight them off. Speaking of which, what have you been told of these monsters? Aye, yes. Alicia would be well qualified to speak on the subject. Compared with Amarang, Kolushia was almost a haven, but as you saw, we cannot let our guard down. If you arrived but a few moments later, the Sin Eater would have claimed yet another victim. So we have won a small victory this time, at least. Now shall we press on? We need to return where the road forks and we follow the path that leads west. And here we are.
That gate up ahead is known as the Open Arms, and Yulmor itself lies beyond. This, meanwhile, is the aptly named Gate Town, the dwelling place of the many desperate souls who hope to be chosen to live in the city proper.
Ah, I thought I recognized you. Brought a new friend, eh? I'll bet you got a trick or two up your sleeve. Maybe even 3. Care to show me?
He's not here to compete. Leave him be.
What? I was only making conversation.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please! Greetings to our hopeful petitioners, one and all! Yulmor extends its warmest regards. Let it be known that a lady of distinction wishes to dine on fish divine. We seek a master culinarian who can guarantee seafood perfection. Dazzle the matron with your delicious dishes, and life in the city will be yours to enjoy, even on days when fish is not on the menu! Who among you will answer the call? Name yourself or another. We may not at all.
Fish, is it? Was there anyone?
What about that girl?
Do you recall how I said Yulmor was a center of power and authority? Well, that is not the only reason for its fame. It is also known as the City of Final Pleasures. The noble and the wealthy who survived the flood gathered here to live out the rest of their days in decadent abandon. A poor man could sooner pass through the Iron Needle than Eulmore's gates. The only way the common folk can enter this perverted paradise is if they fulfill the whim of one of the privileged, and so they are picked over like market produce.
What a catch! We'll not be throwing this one back. Having seen your all too obvious charms, we welcome you with open arms. Come, join us in the City of Splendor and live out your life in an ecstasy of endeavor. Oh, just look at those expectant faces. What could you possibly be waiting for? Well, well, what have we here? An extra share of meal to celebrate our newest resident! For you!
Ah, lost!
Enjoy!
Thank goodness.
Over here!
Meal is a foodstuff which Eulmore routinely doles out to the people of Gatetown, and apparently a staple for its citizens as well. Many here rely on it to survive in these times of scarcity, yet the whole arrangement just seems... well, let's just say it leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
Now you understand why my attempts to enter the city have thus far come to naught. The dubious privilege of residency must be won by a contest of ever-changing rules. They say this policy has been in place for the past 2 decades, ever since Eulmore's current ruler came into power. Yet from what I've seen, it does more harm than good. Not only does it distract people from their shared struggle against the Sin Eaters, it robs them of their self-sufficiency. I've tried to propose ways that they can improve the lot, but my words invariably fall on deaf ears. The attitude is so entrenched now, I worry that, well, mayhap you should take a turn around Gatetown and judge the situation for yourself. Please, will anyone help us? It's my brother. His belly hurts so much he can't even move. I don't think the fresh water we bought was fresh at all. Could you just talk to the bushmaker for us, mister? I've already tried, but when he started explaining things he wanted for his medicine, I got scared and ran away. Welcome, What concoctions? What concoctions are you after today, then? Ah, yes, I remember. The little girl and her ailing brother. I used the last of my bark, you see, and all I wanted her was to gather some trees from the cave. Then, when she ran off, you'd think I'd ask for a bowl of blood or something. You're welcome to collect a few strips in her stead if you like, although I don't expect you to want to bother. Still there. Very well. Find some trees and use this knife to very carefully peel away the 3 pieces of nice dry bark. I won't hold my breath. Still here, are ya? Can't blame me for wanting a slice of Yumor's pie. If you ask me, you should ditch that sour-faced brat and make a home for yourself here. Intel's not too much to look at, aye, but at least it's safe. And the meal is the best thing I've ever tasted. What have we here? An admirer come to exalt the purity in my vocal splendor. No, You should be honored to meet me if I was ever allowed to test the limits of my instrument. One day I shall be the talk of Yumor, nay, all of Norrand. First I must secure a venue in which to practice. If I sing but a fraction of my full volume, the cretins around here become so unreasonably angry, insulting even. As I've taken to finding a quiet spot near the coast. Yet even there my scales and trills seem to drive the world life into a frenzy. I can scarce begin to practice my fire and force to flee for some arranged feast. You seem like you've seen your fair share of fighting. What say you to standing guard and allowing me to swear my fair share of singing? Pretty please? Sense of your nose. Do you not smell that awful stench? What we require here is a strategically placed statue of ground Kolusian sage. Trouble it is, I'm not quite willing to die in the process of obtaining said bird. But what of you, sir? There's plenty of sage. There's sage that planting near the clave should promise a reward overshadow any fear you might have of stabbing tooth and rending claw. 2 generous bunches should suffice. What I would give just for one mouthful of juicy meat. I mean, not but meal for more moons than I can count. I mean, I'm grateful for the handouts and all, but sometimes the man needs variety. I have had me roasted game beard right about now. I've stripped that beauty down to the bone. But have you ever tried catching one of them tragopans? It's like asking to have your eyes pecked out. What, you reckon you can do better? Go on ahead then. Make me eat my own words just as long as they come with a side dish of bird flesh. And make sure you drag me alive and kicking, you understand? There's a bit of rope to truss it up and sack to carry it. Might need to daze it a bit at first. Senses. Let's have that knife back there. What's this? You actually went down to harvest the bark? But what could you possibly hope to gain? Kindness will get you nowhere in this rotten town. What a rare soul you must be. I suppose I have no choice now but to mix up the cure I promised. I've mixed some herbs and powders together with the bark you brought. A few pellets a day should soon settle the aches of that lad's stomach. Never mind the payment. After all, it's you who've done most of the legwork. You know, I've hoped to trade my healing skills for a life in Newmore, but maybe my place is here amongst the poor and the desperate, to help the sick who help it to be needed. Aye, it's not a bad feeling. It's so invigorating to sing here. I feel as if my voice rings clear across the sea. Now if you would be so kind as to intercept any nuisances before they ruin my practice, I should be most appreciative. Wow, that was simply wonderful. You don't know how long it's been since I was last able to sing to my heart's content. And it's all thanks to you. Let us return to town now so I might show you the proper gratitude. Did you go and see the potion maker? From my brother. Oh, thank you, mister. You saved his life. You may want a coin. I'm not sure we can. What do you mean, nothing? Here, you must at least take these, at least. Collected them myself. Thank you again. Oh, that ring is actually good to me. Thank you ever so much for your help. Almost wish I could keep you on as an assistant. I know we seem to be struggling through a rough patch at the moment, but once I make a name for myself in a humorous cabaret show, the privilege will be coming all over each other to offer me patronage. And then when I'm wealthy and famous, you shall have the reward you deserve. Now this is all I can afford. Consider an advance payment. I've read your harvesting efforts. Yes, this is a goodly amount. My thanks. A moment more preparing an experimental session. I'll just grind these up and just sprinkle all of this, a dash of that, and 'tis done. Ah, 'tis akin to inhaling a springtime breeze. Must begin producing these fair-scented pouches in bulk. You, sir, have the privilege of putting my aromatic creation to the test. Place one of these sachets in behind this foul-smelling shack, inform me of the results. Tell me there's a bird in that sack. Oof, that's a feisty one. Nice work, stranger. Seeing this fellow all dressed up for the dinner table reminds me of being back in Stilltide. It's been years since I left to chase after you War's promises, but I'm no closer to getting through the gate than when I was started. Maybe it's time to give up on my whole dreams and went home to my own mom. Anyway, thanks to the bird friend. Did my sachet prove the victor in the contest of fragrances. Well, that was satisfying to hear. I shall continue manufacturing these pockets of sage and produce with secreting them about the place. The thing is, the folk of Gate Town often paw and look through the refuse and discarded by the free citizens of Yulmore. Such salvaged items have, however, no short span of time moldering amongst the actual garbage. Thus, the offensive odor I've been forced to endure. But no longer. Thanks to you, my olfactory senses will be spared. Please accept this token of your tolerance. Just look at it. Can you imagine a more beautiful city? Every day I dream of the life that awaits for me inside those walls. Oh, will they ever pick me? You've seen what Gate Town has to offer. These people can no longer fend for themselves. They've become so dependent on handouts of meal that they believe Yulmore is the answer for all their woes. Yet, no matter how I frame my incursions, they seem unwilling, nay, unable to conceive of any other way of life. Disapprove of Yulmore. It is difficult to make a final judgment without first seeing the city's inner workings. Perhaps that is the uncertainty which always makes me feel so ill at ease here. No, that matters. However unjust the system seems to me, these people claim to be content with a lot, and it's hardly my place to criticize their choices. But take that elderly lady you rescued. Does it not seem that those who have chosen to forgo Yulmore's largesse are doomed to suffer their independence? In the end, they are all forced but to seek refuge in Gate Town, and so hamlets and fields across the island are simply left empty and untended, hastening the regions and descending to ruin. Nay, I'm not convinced that Yulmore's generosity truly serves the best interests of the Kolushia's people. I am not so naive as to think there is some miraculous solution to all this, yet I cannot help but frown at the sight of hardworking villagers struggling to survive, even as the chosen few rejoice at being plucked from poverty by a hand of capricious noble. There has to be a better way. I will not know for sure, however, until I've taken those long-delayed steps through Yulmore's gates. It is fortunate you arrived when you did, Daniel. I've been working on a scheme to insinuate myself into the city. If all goes to plan, it should soon come to fruition. There's a beast tribe who makes its home in the sea surrounding the island. The Ondo, they're called, though you and I know them as the Sahagin. For the most part, they keep to themselves in the ocean grottos, and rarely have dealings with the land dwellers. But as Tataru took such great pains to impress upon my daughter staying in Kugane, business favors the bold, and so I reached out to them. I totally discovered the Ondo are inordinately fond of land-grown produce, fresh fruits in particular. And when I offered to procure such goods for them, they promised to pay me in pearls. An attractive business venture for any prospective investor would you not agree? Surely even the most jaded Yulmore lord would have time for a merchant who can make pearls from plums and pumpkins. Yes, I've come a long way since my days of buying samurai swords without first negotiating a price. My appointment with the Ondo is due to take place in a few hours. I just need to collect produce and meet with them on the shore. Why don't you help me make the exchange? Excellent. I should be glad of your company. First things first, then. We must pay a visit to Moshe Mara, my supplier in Right. Come, it's just northwest of here. This is Moshe Moa, the farmer with whom I speak. Is there something I can do for you, friend? Good day to you, Moshe Moa. This is my associate, Daniel. We're here to collect the produce I purchased. I loaded your lackey up with goods not long ago. My lackey? I have no such person. Me still lad, short blue hair. No? He said he'd come on your behalf, and since he seemed to know all the details, I just assumed. Confounded. Someone must have been eavesdropping on our conversation. If this charlatan was here not long ago, we cannot have gone far. We should split up and search the area. You'll find a vantage point to the south side of the town. I shall attack the west. Forgive me, I had no cause to doubt the lad. Still, he shouldn't be hard to spot with that blue hair of his. It's not me still. Johnny, have you seen any sight of him? Over there. You have a keen eye. Let's move in before he makes good his escape.
there you are. The thief who claims the harvest on my behalf. Hand it over.
Well, forgive me. I have to get into the city. I have no family and all my friends have already been chosen. No one here gives a damn about me. When the meal gets handed out, I'm lucky if I get a smell of it. No matter what I do, they won't call out my name. I'm so tired, I'm so bloody hungry. I thought maybe I could steal your idea, get in that way.
What is your name?
Kolushia.
Tell me then, Kolushia, must it be Yulmore or nothing? What of the Crystarium? They may not offer charity, but you would be fairly compensated for any work you did.
No, it has to be Yulmore. That's where all my friends are. We made a promise that we'd live together in paradise.
I was to make my deal with the Ondo at the Clave. Listen carefully, and I shall tell you my plans for the business, and how best to arouse the Yulmoran's interest.
You'll give me your place? Just like that?
I'm giving you a chance, nothing more. What comes of it is entirely up to you.
I understand. Oh, thank you, thank you!
This was but one path. There will be others. But for young Kolushia, it was the difference between life and death. I do not regret my decision, yet I will admit that a part of me wonders if it was for the best. We strive to bring swift salvation to this world, that countless lives might be saved, not least your own. Even if it came at the cost of one man, should I have forged on regardless?
Quite possibly. Meaning we better hurry up and think of a new plan.
Indeed. We will find another way. I promise you. Shall we return to Rite then? Is that... I can't be sure, but I think someone's in trouble. Come on, they may need our help.
He's breathing. I think, though, he won't last long without help. That should take care of the worst of his injuries. Ugh, mercy. Mercy, I beg you. Breathe easy, sir. No harm will come to you here. Poor man is shivering. Pray keep an eye on him while I get a fire going. I thought for certain I was dead. How am I to ever repay this kindness? Well, settle for your tale behind your current predicament. Why don't you begin by telling us your name? Tristan. I was invited to Yomar to work as an artist. A wealthy couple took me in to paint the pictures of them, but when my style proved contrary to their taste, they just as quickly turfed me out onto the street. I left penniless and patronless, a grave sin in Lord Rothry's city. Within days, he had brought me before the man himself, and he asked me what I meant to do. Dejected as I was, I told him I wished to leave. Little did I know how soon he would grant me my wish. They flung me over the balustrade and into the goddamn ocean. I'm up there. How were you not dashed to pieces? Don't ask me. Luck, I suppose. Though if you hadn't found me when you did, it wouldn't have counted for much. Monstrous. And the citizens condone such barbaric punishment. Oh, without a second thought. When Lord Rothry passes judgment, no one so much as blinks, let alone argues. Yomar, his word is law. If I chased the chill from my bones, thank you again. The more I hear about Yomar, the more determined I am to see what waits within its walls. I shall bend all my thoughts to securing another way into the city. There must be something we can do. But first, we should convey to Tristan to the shelter of the village. Fire no fire, he needs to be out of this chilly coastal air. Away into the city. I wonder what Tristan will do now. Pray accept my deepest gratitude. I owe you both my life. And if you permit me, I would assist you in your attempt to enter Yomar, insofar as I am able to, at any rate. To be frank, the thought of sending my saviors into the awful place makes me sick to the stomach. But since it's plain you've set your minds on it, you should take this. It's my favorite paintbrush. The human elite are never satisfied until they get exactly what they want, and if I'm not mistaken, the couple I mentioned will be looking for someone to replace me. If you could make a show of owning such a well-used brush, you may be able to convince people you have a talent for painting. Are you certain? This is your livelihood. I cannot deprive you of your such a treasured possession. I will gladly give it gladly after you've done for me. Besides, I don't think I have the heart to paint anymore. And so I'll do instead, I honestly haven't decided, but I shan't stay long in this place, not with the city brooding over me. Nay, I'll move on to new lands and a new profession. I'll keep you in my prayers from now until my dying day. They say goodness is his own reward, but Tristan has repaid us with a gift as timely as it is unexpected. We will, however, need to act upon his advice before another painter steps into a vacancy. Thankfully, I do have some modest skill with a brush. Nothing approaching that of a true artist, of course, but enough to play the role, I would hope. That's very, Well, if you don't mind taking a subordinate role, maybe you could pose as my assistant. And then it's settled. All we need to do now is return to Gate Town and await the next experience of those foul jesters. Should you make your way into the city, have care what you say and do. I wouldn't want you to save my life only to lose your own. Oh, who are you? Forgive me, it's not often we have to see travelers in right. What were the dangers here? How dangerous is hereabouts? Even worried for my husband taking the road down to the shipyard, and he's as strong as a talus. He has been gone a good while, though. If you're headed that way, could you please let him know that his wife is expecting him home? I'm sorry, sir. Please tell me you're a warrior of some kind. You see, there's a gang of bandits who moved into the area. They used to be residents of Yulmore, but they exiled for stealing from free citizens. Now they're taking to stealing from us instead, and anyone who tries to stand up to them gets a good beating for the trouble. Folks say they're former soldiers, saying they're the bastards right. I'm inclined to believe them. We're just farmers here. We need someone who can stand up to them, someone who knows the way around a weapon. Could you be that person for us? You'll teach him a lesson then. Oh, thank you. We already hatched a plan to track down their camp. Poke a hole in the harvest stack that left as a bait. There's a trail of grain now leading the way to the village to the east, so you might want to start your search there. Do you want to hear a ghost story? Of course you do. The old pig farm over yonder once belonged to a family known as the Greeleys. It was around, 10 winters ago now that the entire sky was butchered by a pack of wild animals. The farm was never recovered and the family scattered to the winds. Greeley's daughter and her betrothed sought refuge here and right, but the misfortune's grasp would not surrender them so easily. A lot of it slain by Dicayocene last year, when the Eater attacked her village. And the last, mad with grief, threw herself from the bridge that bears her family's name, drowned right there in the river. Ever since folk have avoided the spot and convinced the Greeley bridge is haunted by the girl's anguished spirit. You think the tale is a tall one? Go to the bridge yourself then and call her out her name. Ismella. Excuse me, sir. You seem to be well-traveled sport. Would you be willing to accompany me to the Clayford and return to a reward? There's a bit of a problem, see? We take turns manning the watchtowers hereabouts, but the last few folk have been driven away from the lighthouse, supposed about sudden terrible headaches. Every single one of them remembers hearing some sort of screeching wail. We don't know if we're dealing with a sea witch or a roaming banshee, but they all agree the sound is awful enough to chill your blood. How fortunate for me, then, that I have you to back me up. Pray follow me to the Clave, and we can solve this mystery together. Excuse me, sir, but are you a fellow visitor here, yes? I wonder if you would be willing to perform for me a trifling service. I serve a particular family of the Yulmore elite, and it is at the behest of my patron, a man with discerning taste for a fine drink, that I ventured into the famous breweries of Right. Oh, do you not partake yourself? Otherwise, you would surely be aware of Bright's incredible ale, and its growing reputation amongst the privileged Yulmore. In recent years, however, it seems the distribution of this golden liquid has grown to a halt, and thus I have been sent to make a purchase directly from the source. A simple task, you might think, except the people of Right are not overly receptive to visitors from Yulmore. Downright dismissive, in fact. Do you understand my dilemma? I need you to speak to the villagers and procure a supply of the ale in my stead, a service for which you will be paid most handsomely. Now, you're wanting to buy some Right ale? Well, now, we was indeed famous for our ale once, but that age is long past. Any barley we grow these days is bound to be for the oven or the cooking pot. It's not to be spared for brewing beers and the like. You put that young back to work bringing back in the harvest, though, and I might be convinced to part with a bottle of my private stock. Excuse me, but you're the gentleman Alphino was traveling with, aren't you? I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch your name. Ah, Daniel. How lovely to meet you. My name is Euless, and I'm acting village mayor. I was hoping someone of your talents would pass through before long. Thing is, I need someone to visit. I need to visit someone up at Stonegazer, but I'm afraid to walk the path alone. Do you think you could provide an escort? My thanks. I just couldn't bring myself to ask any of the villagers. You see, there was an incident a while back where our veteran band of hunters was badly mauled. Simply mentioning it's unsafe to wander outside the village these days would be enough to bring back memories of that grisly scene, which is why it's been difficult to even bring up the subject. But such does not change the fact that the roads are indeed dangerous. Pray meet me on the path up north and be prepared to fend off wildlife.